Now, I believe the novel was inspired by your reading of a book called The Sunflower by Simon Wiesenthal. Right. Mm-hmm. I wonder if you'd like to talk to us, explain a little more about that.
In The Sunflower, Simon Wiesenthal recounts a time when he was a concentration camp prisoner, and he was brought to the bedside of a dying Nazi guard who wanted to confess to a Jew, any Jew would do, what his sins were so that he could be absolved before his death. In the course of the book, Wiesenthal comes to see that he can't forgive this man. Even if he wanted to, it's not his place. The only people who can forgive him are the ones upon whom the sins have been perpetrated, and of course they're all dead. So basically this Nazi is just out of luck. It's been republished multiple times, and every time the book is republished, there are epilogues filled with commentaries by theologians and philosophers and politicians weighing in on Wiesenthal's decision and then talking about what they would have done, what their own tradition would have urged them to do. And it got me thinking, can you, if you've done something really, really bad in your life, can you spend the rest of your life making up for it with good deeds and ever erase that stain on your soul? By the same token, if you think you're a morally good person, is there any one thing that could make you cross that line and do a very bad thing, such as murdering somebody? And that sort of evolved into the situation that I was posing in The Storyteller as a plot.
Well, the Holocaust has been written about by a million people, obviously, and has been the subject of many very moving novels. What do you feel that you've brought to it yourself? I mean, what did you feel you had something different to say? Did you feel that you wanted to add to the debate in some, or discussion in some?
I think there are several things that I like to think maybe I humbly could have added to it. The first thing is I wanted to take Wiesenthal's story and update it for a modern generation. I wanted to be able to recreate that scenario of a Nazi asking someone for forgiveness, but set it with today's generation. Because I think for a lot of young people, there's this sense, this happened 70 years ago, who cares? You know, these Nazis, they're all dying out. Why would you even go after them anymore? Well, it's still really important, and I wanted to sort of get that across. I think the other thing that's interesting, the other two things are, you see in The Storyteller a narrative by a man who becomes a Nazi, an ordinary German boy who becomes a Nazi. That is not something you see very often in Holocaust literature. And it's very historically accurate, because I worked my butt off to make sure it was. So I'm very proud of that. And I think it really invites moral thought. You know, Nazis weren't born evil. How did these people become this way? And the last thing that I think is quite important is the fact that Sage is, as you mentioned, very intentionally an atheist. It is very easy to say that a Jewish girl, a girl with Jewish heritage, would be interested in her family's story, would be interested in the Holocaust. But I do think that there's this misrepresentation that the Holocaust is a Jewish problem and a Jewish issue. Truly, 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, but you know what? 5 million non-Jews died in the Holocaust. It's not a Jewish problem. It's a human rights issue, and everybody should be concerned with it. It was a much easier story to tell had Sage been Jewish, but to be able to convince her that this is something she should care about was really important to me, because I should have been able to convince anyone picking up the book of the same thing.